Hey you guys, it's your boy Matt11 Gaming here. Welcome back to a brand new video. Today I'll be doing something I don't normally do on my channel, but I think it was really interesting because I'm a big fan of Assassin's Creed, and today is the 5th of January. It came out yesterday in Italy on the 4th of January, and I went to see it straight away. And yeah, the expectations for this film were high, but at the same time not that high, because it was said to be one of the best video game films that were to come out, because, you know, they've invested loads of money in it and it's more professional, but on the other side it's always a video game that gets transformed into a movie, which, you know, is always keeps people wondering what the final result will be. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Smash a like if you enjoy, and I just want to say before I start, this video will contain spoilers because there's no way around it if I want to talk about it, yeah, maybe come back and watch this video if you haven't seen the movie already once you've seen it. So obviously there are pros and cons, you know, positives and negatives about the film, and we'll start from the negatives so we get those out of the way, and we'll start off with, well, there's a few negative things, but there's one that, like the other ones, I kind of will list every little, maybe smaller detail that is not that relevant, but I will talk about it because I think, you know, it's a con, so it should be in there. But there's one major, you know, the biggest one of all of them is the animus. Where did I get that idea from? Where in every single video game we've got like a chair where you can lie down and you go in, and that is the animus basically. Not this sort of room where they've got this machine that attaches to you. It's just, it doesn't make sense. And everything he's doing in the animus replicates into their past, which doesn't make sense, because what if he's running in a straight line? What, you know, the scene where he's on the horses, or the one where he's parkouring, or, you know, stuff like that. How is he's not gonna fit in the room, is he? Because he's running straight. Like, I can't get my head around this. I don't know where they got this idea from. Like, it's the easiest part of the movie to, you know, get spot on. Like, you can't go wrong with the animus. They managed to fuck it up. I don't know how. It's not the end of the world, but like, we know the animus one way and that is completely different. Another big part of the film which I didn't like much is that it kept switching between the present and the past. Like, just keep us in the animus, just keep us into the past, because like, what we want to see, what the fans want to see is action, you know, the assassin himself, not much about the present. You know, if you know, every video game, for example in the past ones where we've had Desmond, he does appear, but there's only like a few missions throughout the whole game, whilst the film is basically, it goes back and forth, which is a bit of a piss. Just keep us in the past and, you know, let us live the life as it was there. It's okay if you go in and out once or twice. For example, during the fighting scenes where Aguilar is about to punch someone, they go back and show, you know, what he's doing in the animus, which doesn't, you know, we want to see the actual fighting, and that is another problem, because I think this film, sorry, is for 12 and above, and that's kind of what they got messed up as well, I think, because the games are all 18 plus. So why are you making a film that is only 12 plus? They want to make more money, obviously, but I mean, that doesn't stick too much to the games, and plus, because of that, we don't see that much blood, so many brutal actions. There is a bit of fighting, I think the fighting was pretty good, but literally there should have been like more disaster when it comes to, you know, killing people and stuff like that. These, I think, were the two major problems of this movie, and there are some other ones. For example, the bleeding effect, which for me doesn't make much sense, because when we've seen it with Desmond, he basically, you know, sees all these signs on walls and stuff when he goes back to the present, but he doesn't see the actual assassin. Like, he doesn't start fighting in, you know, in real life and start, you know, having these visions about the assassin being there present. It's not the end of the world, you know, it doesn't have to all be perfect compared to the games, but, you know, it's not something we've ever seen, but I can let that go. The other thing is that the beginning part, the introduction, where they try to explain the story and give a background to the character and all of that, is kind of, they take a long time. They could have cropped that a bit, given a bit less space to that, and given more time to the end part where the actual story comes into play. I think it was good, don't get me wrong, but I think they didn't balance it really well. I think there should have been a lot more action towards the end, and it was a bit everything that really happened throughout the movie, because the beginning was like, you know, a sort of introduction, especially for who's never seen or played a video game of Assassin's Creed. The end was kind of, it seemed like it was a bit of rushed. You know, the action just happened really quickly. And the other thing is the eagle, which you see flying in at the beginning of the movie, showing the landscape and where we are. And that's cool, right? But then they show it a second time, a third time, a fourth time. Like, I lost count, but they probably showed it like 5 or 6 times, something like that. And it wasn't necessary. One at the beginning and one at the end was good enough. Like, they didn't, especially when they went back into the Animus, they didn't have to show Spain all over again. Like, literally, I know it's different locations, but it's not something very relevant. And I just, you know, once you get into the Animus, just switch quickly to the character and, you know, start the story. That's pretty much it for the negative parts, and we'll go on to the positives now. First of all, I want to say that the soundtrack was awesome, especially at the beginning, talking about the eagle. When the first eagle comes in, oh my god, I think the soundtrack is Assassin's Creed. You just feel it was Assassin's Creed like. And that's something I think is really important because it kind of immerses you into the movie. It's something that Ubisoft has always done with the Assassin's Creed series, and I think it's really important to have a good soundtrack. Also, the cast I think was amazing. The actors were really good. They played their part, and I think they were really good in their personalities. I think the story was really interesting. It definitely sets up perfectly. It's set up to, you know, have a sequel, so go and spend your money so they can make that, please. No, but I did think the story was actually interesting, except for the fact that it wasn't spread out the best, as I said earlier. But other than that, I think it was pretty cool, interesting, and I want a sequel. I want to see how this story continues. One of the most important things is that it feels like an Assassin's Creed film. Like, other than the soundtrack, which I talked about before, I think there's like things that people who have played the game can refer to. We have the phrase at the end from Altair that nothing is real, everything is permitted. You know, all these kind of things that add up and make it feel more like an Assassin's Creed thing. And the other thing that I'm really happy about is that there was loads of fighting since the beginning, in the Animus, out of the Animus. Although I wanted to see a lot more inside the Animus, and you know, the problem is that it kept cutting out in and out from the Animus, which is what I talked about earlier. And also the blood, that they should have probably been a bit more brutal in the fighting. Other than that, there is a lot of action, which is definitely a positive and something I wanted to see. And maybe to add on, the last little thing is the Spanish translation, the Spanish subtitles, which weren't the best because, you know, maybe if they put a voiceover it would have been better, but I didn't mind it at all, to be honest. Maybe because we're not in the Animus that much most of the time, so we don't see much of it. But there's something I wanted to show you, which is me, that I've been drawing this. I don't know why I chose Arno from Unity, to be honest. Don't ask me that question. If the camera decides to focus, which, well, you can see most of it, and I've spent probably 5 hours or something on this, and I drew it like ages ago, and then I went back to it because I was a bit hyped up lately about this film, but we'll see how that goes. That's going to be the end of the review. I hope you liked it because it's something I never do on my channel. With that being said, I give the Assassin's Creed movie about, I'd say, a 7 out of 10. It's got potential, in my opinion. Maybe something a bit less than 7, but I'd say about a 7 out of 10, in my opinion, is right for the movie. But yeah, that's going to be the end of the video. Let me know what your rating is in the comments down below, your opinion on this movie, and what you thought about it. Smash a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more. It's been doing Matt Gaming. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys next time. I'm out. Bye.